Oh, I think.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Elle. I'm Sabrina, and I am here with the beautiful Elle Wilson with Beautilicious. Hi, Elle.
Hi, Sabrina. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great, great.
Good to see you. It's good
It's
to
good to
see
see
you.
you too.
Earlier tonight, we were talking, and I brought up something that I had seen on Instagram this week, and we started talking about the different things that you hear on
Yeah.
Instagram and the different things for your beauty. And I had read something about trimming that both of you would agree is incorrect.
Yes.
So tonight we were going to talk a little bit about the things that you see on Instagram and the beliefs that you put into them and the different products that beauty professionals are trying to market to you, and are you spending your money in the right place? So
You
those are some of the
know,
topics.
it's a really good topic, isn't it? And I think that it's not only. I mean, the marketplace is just so full of temptation, because we
It
have
is.
we have pain points as
Mhm.
women, and we might have gappy brows, we may have skin that's starting to sag a little bit. That's
Just
not
a
my
little bit.
we might find that we think, oh, I want fuller lips, or I want this, or I want
Right.
that, or and
Right.
there's just all of this stuff that's like, here, take this. And
Mhm.
where do we find where do we discern through all of this? How do we discern through it all? And I think that what we want to do today is to, like, cut through and create some real ground, like cut through some of the myths and debunk them a little bit.
Mhm.
I want to
Yeah,
talk.
I think it's important to note also, because we talked about things that we actually see on Instagram. I think what we need to realize too is that our devices really are also listening to us. And I have had several occasions where I have had a conversation with someone about a product or something maybe that was bothering them. Even in my studio, I have had conversations with clients about unrelated things, like maybe a health condition. And then suddenly in my Instagram feed, there were ads for this health condition coming. Not kidding. Not kidding. I'll tell you super quickly, not to divulge any names, but
Yeah.
I have a young client who I've taken care of for many years, and she has a little bit of hyperhidrosis, which is kind of excessive sweating. And pardon me. So one night, one day rather, she talked to me about this, and we talked about it for a little bit and tried to, figure out some solutions for her, maybe someone to see or what she could do about it. And I am not kidding you. I even sent her a text message. A day later, I got an advertisement coming through my feed about, are you too sweaty?
Right.
Right? Like, what? It's
Wow.
crazy. Mhm. It's
Wow.
crazy.
That's just full on, isn't it?
Mhm,
That's kind of
mhm.
another total episode. What are we going to do about that?
Right. But it's going to find you. You were referring to pain points, and you're going to talk about them sooner or later to someone. And something is listening to you. So it's either going to come through your Instagram feed or your Facebook feed, or it's going to show up in your inbox, in your promotion section of your email.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Someone's
will
always.
find you.
So I guess in a way what we're saying is that the marketplace operates like that, so women are such easy targets too. Like
Mhm.
they are. I mean, and
Mhm.
there's, and a lot of that has got to do with the way that we actually feel too. Like if I look back at the amount of supplements that I've had to try and the amount of,
Yes.
and we kind of have this sense that, we have to do everything that we possibly can to feel fantastic all the time, or to
Right.
stay young, or to do this or do
Right.
that. And I want to say to everyone today is just do your best. And one of the most amazing and the most potent anti-aging tonics that you cannot actually put in a bottle, can't be marketed, is your happiness.
I was just thinking of that word. You're right.
It's your inner joy, and it's kind of like we can't give you that in a bottle. Nobody can. And yet it truly is what will affect your hormones. It will affect so much of the chemistry of your body. It will keep you very light inside, and honestly, if it could be bottled, they would do it, and
yes, they
would
would
give it to you as a magic potion. But it's available to us, and we can't pretend as beauty elders, because we have to admit that, right? We can't pretend that we don't know that. We can't just, it can't be sold, or like, we're not talking here about things that we can sell to you. We're actually coming with real content, real information that we can't even sell to you. And we're saying to you that is, even as you're in your 30s, in your 20s, how you're going to look in your 50s and your 60s it's impactful to understand that your inner happiness and choices, that, like, figure that out, Don't you think?
I agree.
It's kind of amazing, like, and it's not something that we should put down. We can't put that down. And ladies, if you're watching, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We had Michelle. She was so good last week. She was just like, come on, put your location, put your thing. What was she saying? All these things.
She was. She's so wonderful. She couldn't make it this evening because she's in California, ladies, just so you know. And she's, they're kind of doing a bit of a tap dance out there with, closing and opening and closing and opening. So Michelle did have to get some clients in because I think she's going to take a little time to go see her mom in Florida.
Oh, sweet. And, I just think that if we had her on, she'd be just like going, and do, and I'm just saying, Michelle, do that. She does. But ladies, help us out a little bit, and please share with us that you're watching and where you're watching from, and tell us if you have something that you want to share with us. Like, it could be a problem, it could be something great, whatever it is. But here we're going to talk about what's real. And we're going to talk about brow trimming here today.
Yes.
Because we've gone off topic, and we're also going to be talking about serums and things like that, things that work, things that don't work. So stay with us. Don't go, because it's going to be a great episode. But let's not.
Stacey's with us.
Gorgeous. And I really, really want to say is what I'd like to say is, let's not dismiss things that you can't buy in a bottle because they're not sellable. The greatest, what did we say? Anti-aging tonic.
Elixir
of youth. And it's not even for a result. It's just because it's true, that you literally can just do that. Like, really choose to be happy. And I think it's for me, it's just been extraordinary, that transition into understanding that. And I mean, Sabrina, if you're feeling like, sort of like, if you emotionally, you've got stories and narratives, and you look, even if someone looks at you and they go, gosh, she's pretty, you don't feel pretty,
No.
And what we're doing inside to our body chemistry is we're doing a lot of stuff that just really ain't so good, So that's really something. But leaving that aside, because we can't help ourselves. We always have to go into that stuff. You and I. Where's Michelle? She'd pull us out of it, and she'd go, come on, girl, let's talk about Michelle.
That's okay. We still managed to cover everything. So I'm just going to tell you. Yeah. I'm going to tell you what I read. And then I'm going to ask you to expand on it, because we both do not believe that it's true.
Having my coffee.
So you go right ahead. Is that coffee? I'm so jealous. It's my nighttime.
I know.
I have to wait until tomorrow.
With cream. Oh, I know. But isn't it so exciting to wait for the morning?
Every morning, just to have my coffee. So I was perusing through Instagram.
Yeah.
And I follow several, because we do training. I follow a lot of industry professionals. In my city and around the world, actually. And I was reading about trimming, and this particular page had posted that they posed the question of to trim or not to trim.
Right.
And they did say that as a studio, they only trim when needed, because excessive trimming can cause holes, which we know that can happen from a design perspective. But they also said that over trimming could damage the stem and cause the hair to die. And I just I stopped in my tracks and thought, I don't think so. And then, of course, they were promoting a brow gel to actually kind of freeze the hairs. I'm like, freeze the hairs in place.
something like that. This isn't the first time that, you know, people that sell gels and things like that speak about trimming that way. It just is so, what's the word? It's so
misleading.
It's so undignified, you know. It's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like, where is your dignity, right? Like, if you're going to be an expert, go do your research. You know, don't give out false information to human beings. Haven't they got enough they have to put up with in the world with all the stuff they have? If you're going to be an expert, you stand up and you be a real expert, because that is absolute nonsense. That is not true. And it's just such a massively exploitative, undignified message to put out there. You know, literally, if you're going to be a beauty expert, and I'm saying this to every beauty professional, because, you know, to really be honest with you, I am tired of women being exploited. It's like, you know, your clients, women out there, they're not there for you to give them information that you haven't even researched because you want to sell a gel. Like, to tell someone that trimming will make the hair die is the absolute, scientifically, it is not sound.
Right.
And what we have to understand as women in the, and Stacey's just written something, women in the world are looking to their experts. They're looking to their experts to support them. You know, they're believing you, and you need to stand up, and you need to stand up with what's true. Otherwise, you're going to lose clients, because someone's going to find out the truth, and then how can they ever trust you again? The only thing we have as beauty experts, really, Sabrina, is trust.
Right.
And you know, I think when I hear that, I've heard that before in Australia, actually, this other quite a big brow person, who have a range of her own products and selling gels, you know, never trim the hair, because, you know, if you trim the hair, absolutely it is true. If you trim the hair too much, you can create holes, but you can't get the follicle, you know, and that it's going to make her statement.
Follicle is under the skin.
Well, right deep down in the dermis, right? So it's kind of, it's the dermis, isn't it? I haven't studied it for so long. It is the dermis. It's not the epidermis.
It does go down. It's fed by blood vessels. That's correct.
Of course. No, I know that. I'm only kidding. But, you know, what her claim was that if you trim the brow, that the hair will go coarse. Now, I am telling you again, it is undignified. It's meaningless, and it's absolute nonsense. There is no way the hair can go coarse if you trim it. I mean, we have the proof of that, right? Because we trim
it has a DNA code. It's not going to change.
Right. It's not going to change. But, you know, this is the kind of information people make up. Now, this is serious, because we're just talking about trimming, and you go, oh, it's only trimming, blah, 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 you know, they probably got it wrong. No. Your experts can't get it wrong. Your experts are not allowed to get it wrong. That's why we call them an expert.
Why we're experts.
That's wrong, right? That's right.
Right.
So, you know, it's kind of like, that can't happen, ladies. Please, we're your beauty elders. Trust us.
Stacey said something about trimming.
Yes.
Do you want to check out what she said?
Oh, did she? So I have a regular client that switched to me because her previous esthetician refused to trim her, and she had those big, long hormonal terminal hairs. Unbelievable. Yeah, again. And you know what? This is the thing. You know, this is why we did this series, this little segment, because we wanted to come to you as your beauty elders, beauty old women, basically, is what we're saying. I'm only kidding.
I'd like to be the elite beauty because we're older.
I don't actually, you know what? I love maturing. I love it so much. I mean, you know, it doesn't always feel, in my experience, fantastic because my body's changing and whatever. But you know what? I am the happiest I've ever been. I'm the clearest I've ever been. I feel like, you know what? I don't care what anybody out there is, you know, if someone comes and says to me, oh, how could you say that about the beauty industry? Well, you know, my responsibility is to the end user. My responsibility is to the woman out there that is coming to this segment and saying, Sabrina and Al, tell us the truth. You know, that's where our responsibility lies. I'm not here to sell you something so that you can think, and make up some story. I'm not going to do that. Right? I'm too old for that. Far too old for that. And I've never really I just could never bear that. I really, that is the one thing that, if you're speaking to another human being, you owe that person, you owe the research. You have to go and research. If you're calling yourself an expert, do the work. Don't make up stories to sell product. Don't just think you can sell anything. I mean, just because women have these pain points and have these needs, it doesn't, and I mean, I'm not saying that those women are victims either, because they need to, girls out there, you need to do your research. You need to do your research. What are you listening to? What are you listening to when people are saying to you that trimming is going to make your hair coarse, or trimming is going to help, your hair's going to die? Do you know?
None of this was ever taught. I apologize, but I was thinking, because we talk about what is taught in beauty school and what the textbook guidelines are with regards to brow design, which are not right, but we study hair removal for quite a long time in school, just not design. And that was never mentioned.
Yeah.
Those are little cherry picking things that would stand out in your mind. You would remember those if you were taught those.
Yeah. So I think every esthetician would know that isn't true if they learnt whatever they had to learn well enough. And then if they've gone and really invested in really good education, then, this is where really good education is so important. Not, 1-day course, 2-day courses, but the real deal, go and find the people that pay money to be the best in the world so they can be the best for you in your location. We're not talking about being the best, in your location. They have to want to be world class. Like, look at Sabrina. Sabrina, you're here and I'm talking about you, but, I will for a moment.
Yours are ringing.
When Sabrina came to me, she came to me, so open and willing to relearn everything. Every one of my girls that has done that has, really, they're the top 1% of brow artists in the world. And there's a reason for that, is because they absolutely, truly, truly want to be the best for you. You're their clients. And that's why, at TRUEBROW.com, you can always contact us with questions. We can find you someone that you can go to. We can do online support for you. You can buy the collection. You can ask us a question here and say, I just saw this. Is this true? And Sabrina will come and we will answer it for you, honestly. And when you're around people that have got nothing to hide, they're not exploiting you. They don't need anything from you except to give you back your dignity. You know that every word that's going to come out of their mouth, you can trust it. Now, to me, they're the people I want around me. They are in my inner circle. I have people that tell me if I'm not quite right or if I need to look into something. And I don't sell anything. I don't give you anything. I don't recommend anything. I mean, Sabrina, you know that, right?
I do.
Even when companies come to me and give me free gifts, they give me a lot of free things, right? So I can recommend them. I will only do that if I think it's absolutely the best for the end user. First for my students, and then for my students to on-sell it if that's the way, it's going to happen. So I think that we owe that to each other. We owe that to the women that we love. Like, how can you say you want to empower women when you go and give them false information? We talk about how could I explain this? It's not like that here in this world we're trying to get it perfect, because we were speaking about that before, weren't we?
Yeah, we were.
This is a perfect planet, a perfect world. The planet's quite fine, pardon me. I'm talking about the world. The world isn't a perfect place, right? And it's kind of been in shambles from the beginning of time. And, we've spent a lot of time trying to get it right, a lot of energy, a lot of effort. But what I'm suggesting to you is find your people. Find the people whose voice you can trust. Find the people who who want to give you back your dignity. Even when you're confused, they're not going to exploit you. And you have to do that in the beauty industry. Don't you think, Sabrina? And I'm not talking about beauty professionals. I know beauty professionals are the most beautiful people in the world. But, again, as beauty experts and professionals, you girls have got to ask the right questions so that your clients can get the best that they possibly can get. Don't just believe what you're reading. Don't believe that about trimming and go, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Like, check in. Is that true? And this is the place where you can come and check these things, because we don't have to tell you things that are not true.
Another thing that comes to mind to me, Elle, is with regards to growth serums. I'll just, with true confessions, for me, prior to becoming a part of TRUEBROW, I did sell growth serums quite a lot. And, Latisse had come on the market back in that time, and talking around like 2009, 2010. And then Revita Lash, Revita Brow came on, and now there's all kinds of growth serums out there. And they're, quite honestly, some of them work very, very well. But I have, after having exposure to TRUEBROW and being a part of the community and the authenticity that we like to have as our principle, I do still have some, but I won't, where in the past I would give it to someone. I wouldn't even give it to someone now for a couple of years. I would literally say, I will absolutely not sell it to you until we have worked on your brows for at least 18 months. And because I want natural growth for you. I want what is best for you.
So when you say that the hair grows, that they work really well, the hair doesn't stay. The hair, when the person stops using it, it falls out. So you're not creating anything timeless at all. What you're doing is saying you're going to have to use this serum for the rest of your life. And a lot of those serums have got some pretty heavy duty ingredients in them. And, like for me, I was approached actually by our research team, and they said, we've got these fantastic herbs that can really stimulate hair growth. And I thought, hey, that sounds exciting. And like our TRUEBROW collection is not an organic. You can't. There's only one product in the makeup product in the entire world that I know of that is truly, truly organic, and even still can create some reactions because of the fact that it's organic. It's actually certified. But I can't use their lipsticks, because when I use their lipsticks, my lips peel for days. So, it's kind of like with makeup, we have to just look, if we're going to use makeup, and I eat organic food. I'm a purist on quite a number of levels whenever I can. Not so sure how great that is here in the midst of this world. I'm doing my best. But I'm doing my best. But really, for example, with the TRUEBROW collection, it isn't 100% natural. People say to me, oh, but it's got this and that. And I'm just saying, this is not going into your skin. You're putting it on your hair, you're putting it a little bit on your skin, and you take it off at the end of the night. It's not like it's seeping in. And a lot of the things that people tell us are seeping in, I'm really sorry. So much can seep in. If everything could seep into your skin, if it rained, you'd be like a big, like you just inflate.
Well, it's actually very difficult to get things past or down into the dermis, and it takes a lot of very expensive science to have that happen.
So is. And then we have to consider, is it good for us, is it not? But that's another thing. So, but coming back to the serums, when she said that to me, I said, well, look, give it to me. And I had a couple of people, like, I know my girls, if I gave you all serums, you'd be like crazy about that. You would love that, right? You'd be going, oh my gosh, thanks, Al, everyone wants a serum. But for me to put my name to it, I have to try it. I have to try it for 3 months. I then have to see, when I stop using it, what's happening. If something has come back, does it drop out or whatever? Like, there's got to be realness in what we give to each other, because what I'm giving to you, I'm giving to me. It's kind of like, if I turn you into a fool, well, then who am I if I do that? Like, who am I being? Like, do I want to walk around, would I inside of myself, how would I feel if I'm turning people into fools? treating them like a fool. Like, who does that, right? But we live in a world where that happens a lot. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, there is not one serum in the world that I personally would give to anyone right now, purely because I don't think they need them. You know, and I'm not saying, now this is the TRUEBROW ideal client. I'm not talking about that small percentage whose brows do not grow back. They may be very happy to do that. Right. And you've got to support those girls too, right, if they're coming to you. It's a good thing. But how we support them, you know, we're trying to find something that's really good for them, that is going to stimulate hair growth, that they're herbs, they're natural, and that the hair doesn't fall out. So if we can, you know, if we can get to that and we're really comfortable and happy with that, then, you know, we will do it. But, you know, we're talking about the TRUEBROW ideal client whose hair does grow back. And over time, you know, we can get a fuller brow naturally. That's what we're saying, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, and so serum, you know, just imagine with the amounts of TRUEBROW specialist salons that I have, that if I could just pop out a TRUEBROW serum, I could do it in tomorrow. I could give them one. I could give you all one tomorrow. Private label it like everybody does, off the shelf, stick a sticker on it, put a price point, go, yep, this is the one. I could do that. Now, why don't I do it is the question, right? And that is because I'm yet to find one that sustains the hair growth, is in support of, you're putting it on your skin, it is going in to some extent. So are you going to have to use it for the rest of your life? Well, that'd be good for me because I'd be making all this money, right? But can we find something that's better than that? You know, can we find something that really, once you use it, you can bring back, stimulate hair growth, and you're using it because you're loving it, and it's doing a whole lot of other, you know, conditioning your brow hair, taming it a little bit. Even Element does that, right, at the moment, doesn't it?
It does.
Tell us a little bit about your experience with Element, which is part, everybody, of the TRUEBROW collection. Tell us a little bit about that, Sabrina, because I know you experimented with it a little bit more so even than I have, really.
Well, I'm real consistent with it. I've been consistent with it for a very long time. I put it on like I do my face creams at night. I will cleanse my face, and before I put anything else on, I put my Element on, and I'm pretty liberal with it at night. Of course, when we're using it during our application, we use just a tiny little bit. But at night, I'm pretty liberal because I think of it as conditioning and moisturizing my brows, and I've had great healthy growth with it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I have to say that the actual sample that I'm using with these beautiful herbs in it that have been specifically formulated for me to sample and trial, and of course I'll be passing it out to others to try as well. I found my brows too have just been so, like, they're just behaving themselves so beautifully. And I'm loving that, you know. So of course I'm taking photos to see where the growth is and if it's coming back and whatever, in areas that I want it to come back in specifically. But yeah, I'm really enjoying, because it's actually in the Element formulation as well, because I don't want people to have to buy two things. I want to give women like that one thing that's going to do it all, you know. And so I've been using, because I never use the Element like you did, really. I just used it to apply before I put on my True Color, but I've been using it like that as well. And I am just absolutely loving it. So for everyone out there that wants to tame their brow a little bit, you know, condition their brow hair, and another really important thing is remove the surface cells, damaged cells that are sitting there that are possibly preventing hair growth, because, you know, sometimes if you've got all these cells that are sort of dead and they're just in there, if you're a beauty professional and you find that tinting is really hard, or the skin stains really, really a lot if you're tinting, and you find that you've tinted the brow and it's really hard to get the tint off the skin afterwards.
Usually dead skin cells.
Yeah, that's because of the surface skin cells. You know, so recommending Element, for example, is a wonderful thing, because, you know, it's like really working it in and through. And ingredients are actually quite lovely in Element. So yeah, talking about serums, that's there you go. There's another thing. What else is there that really, when we think about it, Sabrina, you know, one of the things with brows is, of course, as we said, trimming. You know, please don't believe the things that you're reading. It just, just ask us. That's what we're here for. We love supporting you and sharing things that are honest and real. And yeah, I think that's important. And then, of course, we just spoke about serums. With brows, like brows are just in the UK, and this was, like probably 8 years ago, $1 billion industry. We're just talking about brows. Right? So everyone's in there trying to give you their thing on brows. What is it about brows that we can sell them? What can we give them? Oh, and yes, it could be that they're just very kind and loving and they want to help you with your problems. That's okay too. Maybe that exists. I'm sure it does. But at the end of the day, ask us questions. Keep your money, your precious money in your pockets. Don't just go handing it out everywhere. The other, I always buy every single brow product that's on the marketplace. Right? I do. I try it because if it's really fantastic, I think, well, wow, this is really good, right? And I did that prior to creating the TRUEBROW collection. And I did it because I didn't want to create the TRUEBROW collection, to be 100% honest with you.
You did such a fabulous job.
Well, but the reason I didn't want to create it is because I love education, but I'm not really into, I didn't want to create a product. It wasn't, but I knew my artists needed something. So I looked everywhere. I tried everything. And, I'll buy things to try them because if there's something really fabulous out there, I'm going to say to you girls, this is really good too, right? But the point is that so many of the things that I've bought and paid, like I'm paying, like I don't want to name companies, but I'm actually paying top dollar for these things. They're just horrendous. They're absolutely absurd. And then I'll go and I'll buy, at the supermarket. This is the honest truth. Like last year, there was this product that was there and it was like $7 or something, right? And it was a brow product. And I thought, oh, well, this is interesting. I said to Toby, come on, put your money down. Let's grab it. We got it. I brought it home. I couldn't even use it, right? So it was $7 in the bin, just in the rubbish. It's like
I did that too with something.
And it's like my job is to test everything, and it's kind of like it has to work. So with the collection, we want it to stay on all day, don't we? And you were saying that last week.
It does stay on all day.
Yeah, you never need to top it up ever. Yeah, so that's kind of a wonderful thing, and we're going to go through the collection another time and have it. I'm going to have it here, and we'll work through it and whatever. But I want to go back to trimming a little bit because there's something about trimming that is also very important. When we do our advanced transformations, and we've just selected our top 10. And Toby and I had a little bit of a disagreement, I have to say. Now, for those of you that don't know, Toby he's the co-founder of TRUEBROW, and he's my beautiful other half who I adore. And I said to him, and all our judges had selected our top 10 girls transformations. It's very exciting, to have like from internationally all these beautiful transformations. And I think the shortlist was what? Something like 73?
72, 73 maybe, 72, 73.
73 because I did Olivia, who's my daughter, for those of you that don't know, she's a naturalbrow.yg. Go check her out. Beautiful work. She did a brow that day when I had the shortlist, Sabrina, and she sent it to me message. She said, Mum, I can't believe I did this in just, like 50 minutes or something like that. And I said to her, oh, wow. I said, this is amazing. And so I had to include it. Now I'm calling Toby and, I have my gorgeous Kira was with me, my EA. And I said, she said, oh, you've got to pick, the judges have all put in there. Come on, you've got to pick the top 10. It's in your calendar. And I'm thinking, oh, really going, okay. So I'm going in and I had to, go into the short list with all the judges. So some of our girls had come in and I'd selected a few guest judges to come in as well as our educators to pick their favorite top 10 of all time up until now transformations. We're also going to do top 10 restorations. We're going to do top 10 designs and we're going to be sharing them all with you. But I called in Toby because Toby has a very beautiful eye for design. And, like he designed my logo in like 40 minutes. He helped the designer design the TRUEBROW logo. He's just amazing with things like that. A perfectionist, that's a problem sometimes. But anyway, So I called him in and I said, oh, honey, I'm picking the top 10. What do you think? And it was so funny. He's going through, he's going, yeah, not that one yet. No, that's not right. No, no, no. And I'm going, all right, that's enough. Now, go back to your office. That's it. I'm not listening to you anymore. Hey, Lucy, how are you, darling? If you're watching, please let us know and say hello. We'd love to hear from you. And if Michelle Bass was here, she'd be just jumping around, hula hooping and doing things, and she'd know exactly what to do to get you.
Hi, Lucy.
We just don't know. We're trying. Help us. So, the top 10 transformations, like amazing, absolutely amazing. And so much of those become real through the use of advanced trimming techniques that where I've taught you then go on and I've educated other girls in. And, so this whole idea that trimming does all these crazy things that scientifically are not sound, we have to question these things. It's kind of like question what you read. It's like even now what's happening in the world. Please question a little bit. Like just a little willingness to just not just read something and believe it immediately. Like just question it. You're allowed to question. That's what really you have a right. You have a right to question. Isn't that right, Sabrina?
You do.
And, we were also talking about bloggers, YouTubers, which, so many of them, so ethical, so beautiful. We love some of these women. Magazines, these glossy mags. I'm not going to show you. I just like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I can show you the front cover because I'm not here to put anybody down or anything. But just because it's in a glossy mag, don't believe it immediately. And as I said, we're here, ask us. Like how do you get a beauty editor to put your product in, they need some space. I mean, I've done it, right? In my early 30s, before my huge transformation, I had a skincare line and I did I did the groundwork. I walked the walk. I got in, got in the plane. I flew to Sydney. I went and saw every single beauty editor. I left them product. I chatted to them. There are ways to get your products into beauty magazines. It's a system. And if you're lucky enough, they pick you because they've got a little spot and they haven't got someone else that's got paid advertising, or they're not a friend. They've got a little gap. It doesn't mean just because it's in there that it is better than something else, right?
Correct.
Check to see ads. Ads are sponsored. Like editorials sometimes are sponsored. Who gets into these magazines? So I would like to say, I mean, you don't have to do this. But for me, I would like to say just you have the right to ask questions. You have the right to research these things, explore a little better to save your time, your money, and so on and so on. What do you think, Sabrina?
Well, don't believe everything that you read or see. Don't believe everything that you see either.
So when we say that, though, where do women go? Like that's the thing, isn't it? We want to feel better. We want to look our best. What do we do? Like in a situation with our brows, we think that our brows are really, really thin or they're gappy. I mean, the amount of women that I've had that have come to masterclasses, I think I put one up on TRUEBROW last week, actually. This beautiful young mum came. She had two little girls. She came to a masterclass last year. Her name was Becky. She was an angel. She came and she really, honestly, her brows were a mess. And everyone had told her that they couldn't grow back. Everyone had said to her she needed to do, microblading or some sort of henna or stain this tint. She was never going to do that. We live in a coastal town. These girls are just so relaxed. They're so earthy and they're just cool people. And, I just sat her down. She was my demonstration model. Within 50 minutes, 60 minutes, she had a magnificent brow. She was over the moon. I mean, I've never seen anyone so happy. And I think that, what's really, really important is do your research. So ask us here when it comes to brows, you don't have to go anywhere else. Before you go and get someone to tattoo your brow, why wouldn't you find out here if there's any chance for it? Why wouldn't you say to one of our girls, can I have an online discovery session with you? Can Can we do it online? What can I do if you don't have a specialist in your location?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's also great too when you're doing your research to look for testimonials.
Oh,
See what other people are saying about the person you're considering going to.
And the reviews. I think one thing too with brows is that it is about the kind of, we see at the moment, for quite some time now, where big, bold brows are the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one of the things is that we look at a model, a supermodel on a catwalk, or someone like Cara, and we kind of think, or Lily, and we kind of think to ourselves, oh, I want brows like that.
Mm-hmm.
I that's a tough one.
But they don't necessarily look good on your face.
Yeah, and also, what would you have to do to make that happen to your own brow? Like, the point is that you want something on your face that refines your beauty. You want something. I mean, what do women want when they come to us, Sabrina? What are you finding that women want?
I think that they want to feel beautiful. I think that they want a full brow, but they want a beautiful design. There's a big difference between having something super full above your eyes and having a beautiful design. So there's a very fine line between too thin and too thick. And for me, it's not too thin or too thick, but it has a beautiful design to it.
Yeah, I think that I just want to put this up. Now, let me see if I can show this. So beautiful. Oh, Lucy, thank you so much. We love seeing you too. That is so beautiful. Thank you for being here. So I think that that's something that's really, really key, isn't it? Is that when, we want to have a fuller brow. A lot of the time when someone says they want a really thick brow, and this is for experts, and, I'm giving you a little tip here. If you would like it, you don't have to take it. You can just throw it in the bin. That's fine. But just because someone's coming to you and they're saying to you, I want, don't make my brows. I'm actually sorry. I want my brows to be, thicker. It does not mean blocky. It doesn't mean a big, massive, how much hair can I find and what can I do? That's not what people are asking. They're saying, please don't make my brows thin. That's what I always, please don't make my brows thin. And, today actually I have a client coming in, which we've just gone into, I have a space where I'm going to be doing quite a number of brows so that we can be putting them up, and also doing some live streaming to educate beauty professionals around the world. But one of the things that I've got this girl, a lady, that I've done her many, many times, and her brows just grew in so much. But because I don't do brows like now every single day, I don't sit there and do brows. I have no time. She goes to other places. And I saw her not long ago, and I said, oh, what have you done? What have you done? And she said, I've been doing them, right? But in fact, she went somewhere else, and because she was embarrassed, she didn't want to tell me. She told me last night, because we went out and had, as I told you, pizza after moving house yesterday. And she said to me, oh, Al, I couldn't tell you, but I went there. And I just think they just ruined everything, So she's coming in today at 4:00. I'll take some before and afters.
Awesome.
I love getting my hands in there. And I know what you mean about that, Sabrina, because you've always told me that you love the hands-on. Let me just have a look. And let me just put Lucy. Lucy's saying something else. And I need a new profile picture. My brows are better. Lucy, definitely go for it, girl. You go do those beautiful brows that you're doing now that you're with us, and that would be absolutely fantastic. So do we have anything else to share with our beautiful audience today, Sabrina?
I think we've covered it all. We talked about our agenda, and I think we did cover it all.
Yeah, and we'll be back next week with more. And when you're flicking through those magazines, I love them. I have so many. I buy them all the time, but I never read anything.
I just look at the pictures.
Yeah, I know, me too. And I love the models. I just love the photography and everything, and the clothes. But I never, honestly, I never look at something and go, okay, that's in there. I'm gonna use it on my skin or whatever. I'm always into inquiring into things, and I just really honestly, I really do recommend that you do that you do the same. You know, if you want to save your money and you want to make good decisions for your beauty, I think it's really, really important. And I'm just having a look there. So everybody, thank you so much for being with us once again. Thank you so much for all your lovely comments that you sent me. And, you know, I've been speaking, Sabrina, to quite a lot of people over the last couple of weeks. The amount of women that come and actually watch these episodes after and is just amazing. And
that's awesome.
It's so sweet. It's so lovely. We are so grateful. We want to be bringing you the controversial. It's not controversial. Actually, we just want to bring you the truth. Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to bring you the truth here.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, just like that. And you can do whatever you want with it. You can anything that you want. But we would love to hear your comments, and we love seeing you here. Take care.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back again with more next week. Bye for now.
Bye, ladies.